Communities along the freshwater Mississippi River are facing a growing threat from an intrusion of saltwater from the Gulf.
I've heard the Mississippi River is too strong to swim in, and there are a lot of factors that really make that river dangerous.
It's true, and meteorologist Alexander Cranford is taking a look at all of it for us.
The U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, has sounded a rare and urgent red alert following the discovery of a mysterious object buried deep beneath the Mississippi riverbed, sparking intense speculation and concern among scientists, geologists, and national security officials. The alert, rarely used outside of imminent natural disasters or extreme seismic threats, has stirred both fear and fascination. The object, described in internal reports as unclassified and anomalous, was detected during a routine geological survey near a remote section of the river in southeastern Missouri, an area known for its ancient shifting sediment layers and proximity to the infamous New Madrid Seismic Zone. Before we start, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more updates. What began as a standard geophysical mapping operation took a dramatic turn when survey instruments began returning irregular seismic reflections. Echoes from underground that made no sense within the context of known geological formations. Unlike typical bedrock structures or sedimentary layers, the anomaly returned consistent high-density readings, indicating a vast and solid structure embedded more than 200 feet beneath the surface of the riverbed. Intrigued and alarmed, the USGS deployed more advanced magnetotelluric equipment, revealing a powerful magnetic signature that only deepened the mystery. The shape, dimensions, and signal patterns of the object defied all initial interpretations. At an estimated 1.3 miles in length and around 400 feet wide, the structure appeared almost unnaturally symmetrical. Advanced imaging techniques suggested smooth edges, angular contours, and most disturbingly, a recurring internal pattern that seemed to hint at intelligent design. In a region shaped over millions of years by glacial activity, sediment flow, and the restless movements of tectonic faults, the object's precise geometry felt starkly out of place. The presence of the object has raised urgent questions about the river's past and perhaps even the continent's ancient history. While some experts speculated it could be a massive metallic meteorite that burrowed deep into the earth long before human civilization, others quickly ruled out such a possibility. The magnetic intensity was not typical of a natural spaceborne object, and its composition, inferred through resonance scans, indicated elements in proportions not naturally occurring in Earth's crust. The USGS's Red Alert Protocol mobilized several federal agencies, including FEMA, the Department of Homeland Security, and even representatives from the Pentagon. Unmarked vehicles and black helicopters began appearing in the vicinity of the river's edge, where temporary command centers were erected under heavy guard. Satellite access to the region was quietly restricted, and the surrounding rural towns reported strange military activity, though no official statements were released. Locals, long used to the rhythms of the river, now find themselves on the edge of something much larger than their peaceful surroundings would ever suggest. For the scientific community, the implications are enormous. If the object proves to be of artificial origin, as many now privately believe, it would radically alter humanity's understanding of North American history, possibly even the origin of civilization itself. Some hypothesize that it could be the remnants of a pre-Ice Age culture, one advance far beyond what mainstream archaeology currently accepts. Others entertain more extraterrestrial explanations, driven by the object's persistent electromagnetic activity and the way it interferes with nearby communications equipment. The Mississippi River has always been more than just a channel for trade and agriculture. It is a living artery of the continent, steeped in ancient folklore, Native American legends, and inexplicable anomalies recorded since the days of early European explorers. There are tales of odd lights near the water at night, sudden whirlpools that vanish as quickly as they form, and even accounts of rumbling beneath the river floor, dismissed until now as the sounds of shifting tectonics or the groan of settling mud. Yet nothing in modern geological records has ever suggested the presence of something so vast, so engineered, and so hidden from detection for millennia. The mystery is compounded by the object's apparent resistance to deep penetration drilling. An early attempt to bore into the upper edge was abandoned when diamond-tipped bits shattered against the surface, despite applying forces that would normally carve through granite. Acoustic pulses sent into the structure are absorbed without echo, making internal mapping nearly impossible. It's as if the object itself is designed to remain hidden, protected against intrusion from the surface world. There is growing speculation that the object may be linked to the New Madrid Seismic Zone, one of North America's most volatile fault lines, responsible for some of the most powerful earthquakes in U.S. history during the early 1800s. The positioning of the object near this geological hotspot raises the chilling possibility that it has some interaction with tectonic forces. Its discovery may not just be coincidental. Some scientists worry it could be influencing subterranean pressure or even storing energy. Others are more optimistic, suggesting the object may be some form of monitoring station, a sentinel placed long ago, now reawakening as its surroundings change. The idea of an ancient artifact responding to geological stress is both thrilling and terrifying. If it is reactivating, what is it reacting to? Could it be sending signals, recording data, or perhaps preparing to surface? Military engineers dispatched to the scene have begun constructing a reinforced containment zone along the river, diverting the flow slightly to reduce water pressure around the site. Huge metal pylons are being driven deep into the bedrock, anchoring equipment capable of resisting massive hydrostatic forces. It's an unprecedented effort for an underground anomaly, suggesting the government fears either a release of unknown energy or the possibility of destabilizing the river's structural integrity. News of the red alert has leaked to a few independent researchers, and while mainstream media remains quiet, likely under an informal gag order, alternative science circles are ablaze with theories. Some compare the situation to the early moments of historical discoveries like Tutankhamun's tomb or the Antikythera mechanism, but scaled up to a degree that could challenge every assumption about Earth's past and mankind's place in it. Yet this situation lacks the slow burn of an archaeological dig. Everything is happening at speed. The pace at which agencies are being mobilized, the hush of official channels, and the secrecy surrounding the USGS data all suggest something more urgent is at play. Multiple sources within scientific institutions have anonymously stated that they were approached for consulting roles, then quickly dismissed without explanation after preliminary reviews. It's as if the agencies involved are trying to contain both the physical object and the idea of it before it becomes uncontrollable. Perhaps most disturbing is the fact that seismic sensors in the surrounding region have recorded low-frequency vibrations, rhythmic and repeating, emanating from the object's location. These pulses are too uniform to be natural, and they match no known seismic event signatures. Geophysicists are unsure what they represent: a malfunction, a resonance effect, or more provocatively, a form of communication. With each passing day, the signals grow slightly stronger, reaching sensors farther afield, as though the object is slowly awakening. Despite its central location, the Mississippi River has not often been considered a focal point for extraterrestrial hypotheses. Most such theories concentrate on deserts, mountain ranges, or ocean trenches. But the river's enormous geological timescale, its tendency to dramatically change course over centuries, and the thick layers of sediment that bury all beneath them have made it a perfect vault for something ancient, or something deliberately hidden. The timing of the discovery only heightens its eerie impact. With global temperatures rising and water levels in flux, the Mississippi has seen unusual shifts in depth and flow over the past decade. It's possible these changes eroded enough sediment to reveal previously obscured mass signatures. Or perhaps something has altered beneath the surface, prompting the object itself to generate new energy fields that drew USGS instruments to its presence for the first time. As data is collected and more advanced tools are brought to bear on the object, internal government briefings have reportedly become more frequent and tense. A consensus is growing that this is not merely a passive artifact, but an active element embedded deep within the Earth, possibly for thousands of years. Such a scenario would suggest pre-human technology or non-human origin entirely. Even skeptics are beginning to acknowledge that conventional explanations fall short. Geological anomalies can explain many things, but not the object's perfect dimensions, not its magnetic signature, not the increasing frequency of energy pulses, and certainly not the total breakdown of high-powered drills against its surface. The Earth is old, mysterious, and largely unexplored beneath the top few miles of crust. but rarely does it conceal something that so clearly signals its own presence. While the initial discovery beneath the Mississippi River triggered alarm and speculation, the deeper investigations have only compounded the mystery, pulling a veil away from layers of Earth long considered stable and well understood. With the red alert status sustained, the scientific, military, and intelligence sectors continue operating in an uneasy partnership, each with their own theories, priorities, and fears. The multidisciplinary teams at the site are functioning within an ecosystem of high tension, secrecy, and mounting pressure as the mysterious object refuses to conform to any established model or protocol. The Mississippi River has long been viewed as a geological landmark rather than a hotspot of buried secrets. Yet now, the questions multiplying around the anomaly demand an entirely new framework for understanding the river and the region beneath it. The object is not merely unusual because of its size or material. It is exhibiting signs of behavior. That, more than any other element, is what is shaking the foundations of conventional science. Its responses to nearby scanning equipment have become erratic and selective. At times, it allows certain frequencies to pass through without resistance, only to suddenly reject the same waves minutes later. This reactive quality has led some researchers to describe the object as aware, though they do so reluctantly, knowing the implications of such language. Far beneath the surface, far from public view, a second level of inquiry has begun. Specialized linguists and mathematicians have been brought in under government contracts not to decipher texts, none have been found, but to study the pulses and patterns emitted by the object. The idea being quietly explored is that these patterns may represent an unknown language or logic system. It is not unheard of for advanced technologies to encode information in rhythmic or timed pulses. Radio transmissions, computer processors, and even early encryption systems have all used such formats. But what is remarkable is the complexity. The signals do not repeat in any obvious cycle. They change subtly with each day, sometimes increasing in density, sometimes spacing themselves further apart. The lack of repetition has defied decryption models used by cryptographers, prompting suggestions that the patterns are not meant to be interpreted by machines, at least not any machines we currently possess. In tandem with the mathematical puzzles posed by the object's behavior, an entirely separate line of investigation is focused on its possible interaction with the geomagnetic field. Sensors around the anomaly have picked up minor distortions in the Earth's magnetic field, localized entirely around the object's perimeter. The effect is not dramatic, but it is consistent. Compasses deviate slightly, metal objects vibrate faintly at specific locations, and GPS systems lose precision when flying over the site. These irregularities suggest that the object is exerting a kind of controlled influence on its environment. Again, not what one expects from an inert geological formation or a meteorite. Some of the more radical theories propose that the object may be a kind of embedded reactor, not for energy in the traditional sense, but perhaps for information, memory, or even containment. The idea of containment raises unsettling questions. If this structure has been buried deep beneath the river for thousands or even millions of years, is it here because it was placed intentionally? And if so, was it hidden for protection, or to protect others from it? Among the working groups near the epicenter, a new focus has emerged on the surrounding rock strata and water flow. Advanced hydrological modeling has revealed that the currents around the anomaly form unnatural eddies and vortexes not visible on the surface but consistent within the subsurface flow. The river water slows unnaturally above the object, as though it is encountering some kind of resistance, even though scans show no obstruction. Some hydrologists have posited that the object may be generating a localized gravitational distortion, minute but sufficient to affect water movement. While this might seem fantastical, gravity anomalies are known to exist around dense ore bodies or unusual masses. The anomaly's density, far beyond anything naturally occurring at that depth, could indeed be enough to bend the behavior of water. But again, the uniformity and shape contradict a random geological origin. The interaction between the object and its environment is not limited to the physical. The local wildlife has demonstrated measurable changes in behavior, with migratory birds avoiding the airspace above the river in a neat, unbroken arc that matches the anomaly's radius. Deer and other mammals have been seen altering their usual trails to give a wide berth to the surrounding riverbanks. This might be dismissed as coincidence. But the consistency across species and timing with the first red alert notice has turned it into a point of concern. Could the object be producing low-frequency sounds or other emissions imperceptible to humans but disruptive to animals? Adding another layer of complexity, seismic instruments in the region have begun to detect microquakes, not powerful enough to be felt at the surface, but distinct from natural tectonic movement. These events seem to cluster at regular intervals and emanate from the object's location. They do not follow the typical fault line patterns of the New Madrid zone. More remarkably, their signatures include sharp, high-frequency spikes, seismic chirps unlike anything recorded in standard crustal movement. Some seismologists believe the object may be attempting to interface with its surroundings through directed pressure changes, in effect probing the rock around it. This suggestion has been bolstered by an unexpected finding. Shortly after one such microquake, a new tunnel-like void was discovered branching outward from the structure. Ground-penetrating radar revealed it extending over 80 meters before tapering into obscurity, carved through rock as though it had been melted or erased. The path did not follow any known geological stress lines or weaknesses. This discovery reignited fears that the object is not just awakening, it may be mobile, at least partially. Whether it is creating space to expand, preparing for emergence, or simply adapting to its rediscovered surroundings remains a matter of fierce debate. While the scientists continue their cautious, calculated analyses, the military contingent at the site has grown increasingly involved. The area is now heavily restricted, with unmanned drones monitoring airspace and watercraft barred from within a 15-mile radius. Emergency communication protocols have been established with regional command centers, and mobile EMP shielding units have been deployed, equipment typically reserved for highly sensitive operations involving nuclear assets or unknown tech. Satellite imagery from public services has been heavily censored or rerouted, with older images of the area archived in such a way that sudden differences are difficult to detect. The scale of operational secrecy suggests that the military is preparing for a scenario beyond mere discovery. They are preparing for engagement, whether with the object itself or in anticipation of what it may trigger. A lesser-known consequence of the discovery is how it has begun to divide the scientific community into factions. One camp insists on a natural origin, pointing to the dangers of letting imagination override the rigorous principles of geology and physics. The other camp, growing steadily more vocal, argues that continued denial in the face of mounting data is itself unscientific. The internal clash has created unusual alliances. Physicists working alongside folklorists, biologists comparing notes with encryption specialists. The anomaly is forcing people out of their silos and into a new space of interdisciplinary urgency. One quiet concern gaining traction among those closest to the project is the fear that the object may be a form of sentinel technology, not active in the sense of weapons, but as a kind of ancient monitor left behind, waiting for certain environmental or planetary triggers. If this hypothesis is correct, then the recent climatic and geomagnetic changes across Earth, from solar flare activity to shifting magnetic poles, could be what woke the anomaly. If true, it also suggests that we may not be alone in having noticed. The concept that Earth might have once been visited, surveyed, or seeded with devices designed to awaken under specific planetary conditions touches on ideas long banished to science fiction. But the cold facts of the Mississippi anomaly are now pulling such ideas into stark reality. The strategic implications are staggering. If the object is extraterrestrial, it means intelligent life has been here, long before us. If it is terrestrial and predates known civilization, it forces a complete rewriting of human history. And if it was put here not to watch, but to warn, or to imprison something beneath it, then we may be sitting atop a dormant force we were never meant to disturb. So far, no decision has been made on whether to excavate further. The risks are mounting. Dislodging or exposing more of the object might trigger unknown responses. Some in the intelligence community have even argued for burying it again, encasing it under reinforced barriers and flooding the site to restore equilibrium. But even that may be too late. Once discovered, it seems, the object has begun a process of reaction. Silence was its shield. Discovery may have been its key. Across the globe, quiet messages have been passed through diplomatic channels. Countries with advanced space and seismic monitoring capabilities are being brought into the conversation. While the US government maintains a position of silence, satellite coverage and energy readings are difficult to completely hide from other nations. International scientific networks, while not officially informed, have noticed anomalies in data packets and shared readings. A game of silent chess has begun at the geopolitical level, each side guessing what the other knows and what they fear to admit. Yet the greatest uncertainty is still to come. The anomaly is not fully understood, not fully mapped, and not yet interfaced with, if such a thing is even possible. It sits in a kind of enforced slumber, revealing just enough of its presence to unsettle everything we thought we knew. It challenges the boundary between past and future, between science and myth, and between Earth and the unknown. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us? What are your thoughts on the USGS Red Alert? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.